Hare Krishna. We are discussing the chapter number 10 and we are discussing the verses number 2 to 5. This is a very important chapter. It's the opulence of the absolute. So let us see this. Name vidussuraganaha prabhavam na maharshayah aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashah. Neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. So, this is chapter number 10, also called as the opulence of the absolute. So, we will understand about the absolute truth. The absolute truth, Lord Sri Krishna. And Lord Sri Krishna himself is saying very clearly that nobody knows his origin or his opulences. The reason why nobody can estimate his opulences is because aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashaha. That means because he is the source of all the demigods and the sages. So you see, generally we see that the demigods are very powerful people, powerful living entities. Correct? Otherwise, the sages are very powerful spiritually, that they have a lot of knowledge. But the problem is these demigods who are very powerful or the great sages also cannot estimate the opulence of the absolute truth, that is Lord Sri Krishna, because Lord Krishna is the source. So whatever is the source, we cannot estimate what it is. So for example, just like a small child in the womb of a mother cannot estimate about the mother, won't be able to understand anything. Just like how Lord Brahma, when he was born out of the um, navel of Lord Vishnu, he came out from a lotus flower. At that time, he saw nothing around him. All he saw was just there was only water. That's it. He was unable to understand what was going on. Then he had done. Then he did tapasya for 100 years, 100 celestial years, and then he takes the darshan of Lord Vishnu. Then he understands what he is supposed to be doing. So in the Brahma Samhita, it is said, Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishna Sachidananda Vigrahaha Anadiradir Govindam Sarvakarana Karanam. That means he is the cause for all the causes. So therefore, if the demigods cannot understand Krishna, if great sages cannot understand Krishna, how can the so-called scholars of this tiny planet understand Krishna? That they try to speculate. So anybody who is trying to search after the absolute truth, Krishna is saying, here I am the supreme. So we should take it as it is. There is no need of any kind of interpretation that is required. So Krishna is Satchit Ananda, full of eternity, bliss and knowledge. So to understand Krishna, we need two literatures. One is Bhagavad-gītā and another is the Srimad Bhagavatam. You see, even the impersonal Brahman, that is the Brahma Jyoti which is worshipped by the Jnanis, that is also inferior to Lord Sri Krishna. It is not superior to Lord Sri Krishna. So, but then the problem is there are some speculators who are called as the impersonalists. They're also called as mental speculators. Mental speculation means they try to estimate with logic. So, for example, they'll try to put some dry logic. So, for example, if they say that there is a statement that says that from Lord Balarama, Chaturvyuha has come. And from Chaturvyuha, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, right? 4 expansions have come. So they will put a dry logic and say if there are 4 expansions, but Ishvara is only one. So therefore, we do not accept this. So this is called as dry logic. So they try to estimate the absolute truth with mundane logic, with common sense, common physics or basic logic they will put, and they'll try to estimate the absolute truth. That's why they fail to understand who is Krishna. Therefore, even these mental speculators also, they take the shelter of the impersonal Brahman. They also cannot understand Krishna. Right? So, it is He whom we have to worship. That is Lord Shri Krishna. Let's go to the next verse. Yo mam ajam anadim cha veti lokamaheshwaram asammudas samartyeshu sarva papai pramuchyate. He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme lord of all the worlds, he only, undeluded among men, is freed from all sins. So only those people who are completely free from all types of sinful activity can understand Krishna as he is. So here is the thing, we may get a doubt. So if Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, why does not everybody know about it? Not even in our Sanatana Dharma, not everybody knows that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, despite Bhagavad-gītā being in the public domain for many centuries. Still people cannot understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. The reason is, to understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, we must be completely free of sins. In other words, if you want to be free of sins, we must understand Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. Very clearly, Krishna is stating here, Yo mam ajam anadim cha. Ajam means unborn. He who knows me as unborn. Anadim means beginningless. There is no beginning for Krishna. So that is, all the living entities are coming from Lord Brahma. The greatest living entity in this material world is Lord Brahma. The source of Lord Brahma is Vishnu. The source of Vishnu is the Chaturvyuha. The Chaturvyuha source is another Chaturvyuha. That source is Balarama. Balarama's source is Krishna. For Krishna, there is no source. Anadim, he is the beginning. He is the beginningless. There is no beginning. And then Loka Maheshwaram, he is the supreme lord of all the worlds. So simply, if we understand this, Asammudaha, without any doubt, we must not even have a tinge of doubt. It's a fact. We should just accept it as it is. Krishna is the supreme personality of God. To simply accept this fact, sarva papaihi pramuchyate. You become freed from all the sinful activities. All right. So it is said in the 7.3 Bhagavad-gītā, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye. That means those who are trying to elevate themselves in the platform of self-realization, they are superior to millions of ordinary people who have no knowledge of the spiritual realization. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye. Those people who are trying for spiritual realization are superior to normal people. But even among those people who are leading a spiritual life, even among these people who have become self-realized also, hardly one can understand Krishna. Yatatam api siddhanam kaschit mam veti tatvataha. Only one person is able to understand about Krishna. So it is not so ordinary to know about Krishna. So that person who is one among millions, and among these millions of sages, one among them is a very, very special person who understands Krishna's supreme position. So simply by understanding Krishna's position, we can become free from all sinful reactions. He is unborn. He is not like us. Living entities, they are born. So we are like, we have a birth and we have a death. And we are changing bodies. You see, the body is not permanent that we have. Okay, our bodies are not permanent. But Krishna's body is not like that. Krishna is same unborn. So whatever body he has got in the spiritual world, it is the same body that has come here. It is not that his body is a material body. There is no difference between Krishna and his body. Because material energy is giving us Krishna, is giving us these bodies. It is Krishna's material energy. Am I right? So who is giving us the physical body? Material nature. This material nature is Krishna's external energy. So Krishna's body is not made up of his external energy. So by his internal potency, he actually takes the so-called birth. It's a transcendental birth for a purpose, for the sake of Leela. He comes here. And Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, Vetti Loka Maheshwaram means he's not only the proprietor of the spiritual worlds, he's the proprietor of all the material worlds also. So whatever there is a world in this universe, he is the top supreme proprietor. He was existing even before the creation, and he exists even after the dissolution also. He is existing, right? So all the demigods, they get created within this material world. This is what we have to understand. You see, if you see, there is a fig, there's a fig fruit. The way fig fruit fructifies, there is a process for it. There are some wasps which enter inside this fig fruit. All right. And then that female wasp will give birth to so many other wasps. So many eggs will come out of it, male and female. You see. And then they will come out of the fig and they will enter into another fig. You see. Just like these wasps which are born within the fig and they die within the fig only, or they come out and they die. So that means similarly, all the demigods, their scope is there within this material world. That's it. They are similar to the wasps inside a fig. That's it. That means whatever greatness that they have is within this material world. It is not beyond the material world. But Krishna is not like that. Krishna is Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. So he is the proprietor for all the worlds, not only the material worlds, but also the spiritual worlds. So we must not think that Krishna is a human being. A lot of people make this mistake. They think that Krishna was a great person. Krishna was a great strategist. Krishna was an intellectual person. No, he was not just that. Of course, he is a person. He is the most intelligent. There's no doubt about it. But we must not think that he is a human being. He is not like us. So simply if we understand this, then we become freed from all sinful reactions. But then we say that Krishna is Devaki Putra. Then how do we say that he is unborn? That is also explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, when Devaki and Vasudeva, in front of them Krishna appeared, he was not born as an ordinary child. You see, ordinary child has to go through the maternity, right? Through the labor pains, and then the baby comes out. Krishna did not come like that. He appeared in his original form in front of Devaki and Vasudeva, and he showed his transcendental form. And he showed his four-handed form. And he also told them that because you are my very nice devotees and you have done a lot of austerity in the past, I am being born to you as a favor. You see, that is Krishna's Leela. So, anything that's done under the direction of Krishna is transcendental. So, that's the secret of Bhagavad-gītā. If you do not follow the instructions of Krishna, then we become contaminated by auspiciousness or inauspiciousness. So always in our religion, we make a differentiation. Shubha, Ashubha. Is this Shubha Karya or Ashubha Karya? Whether this karma is Shubha Karma or Ashubha Karma. Sat Karma or Asat Karma. You see, we are doing a good work or a bad work. But this conception is only until it is not in connection with Krishna. But as long as we are following the instructions of Krishna, we are acting under the direction of Krishna, that is beyond auspiciousness and inauspiciousness. The real auspiciousness is to do activities in Krishna consciousness, in full devotion and service. Therefore, what we must do? We must act under the directions of the Supreme Lord. And where are these directions given? In the authoritative scriptures, Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-gītā. And where do we get these directions from? There are a lot of instructions in Bhagavad-gītā and Bhagavatam. How do we practically do something that the bona fide spiritual master will give? The bona fide spiritual master is the representative of the Supreme Lord. You see, the spiritual master, Sadhu, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. There are three sources that determine what is the action that we are supposed to do. If you get a doubt in your life, what am I supposed to do? You consult Guru, bona fide spiritual master, Sadhu, the saintly people, the devotees, and Shastra. That is Bhagavad-gītā and Srimad Bhagavatam. Why are we saying only Bhagavad-gītā, Bhagavatam? Because these literatures, Bhagavad-gītā and Bhagavatam, are Krishna literature. They are completely transcendental. But the other parts of the Veda, Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna, Krishna is saying that the Vedas are mixed with the three modes of material nature. But Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna, rise above. We have to rise to the transcendental literature, Bhagavad-gītā and Srimad Bhagavatam. So if we simply act according to the instructions of Krishna, then that is called as the real renunciation. That is called Sasanyasi cha yogi cha. That is a real sannyasi. Not the man simply who has taken the dress of a sannyasi. Person who is a so-called sannyasi, who is simply wearing the dress, is not a real sannyasi. The real sannyasi is the one who 100% follows the instruction of Lord Sri Krishna, as given in Bhagavad-gītā and Bhagavatam. The one who follows the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master. Such a person is a real sannyasi. Let us see the next verse. Bhagavad-gītā 10.4 to 5. Buddhir jnanam asammoha kshama satyam damasamaha sukam dukkham bhavo bhavo bhayam cha bhayam eva cha ahimsa samata tushtes tapodanam yasho yashah bhavanti bhava bhutanam mattayeva pritagvidha. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame and infamy, all these various qualities of living entities are created by me alone. So there are a lot of qualities that have been given here. There are some good qualities and there are some bad qualities, right? That human beings have. And the qualities that are given here are good qualities. What are they? Buddhi means intelligence. Jnanam means knowledge. And then asammoha. Asammoha means freedom from delusion. That means not having any kind of moha, delusion, no doubt, freedom from that. And kshama, forgiveness. Satyam means truthfulness. Dama means control of the senses. And then shamaha means control of the mind. Sukham, happiness. Dukkham, distress. Bhava, birth. Abhavaha means death. Bhayam, fear. Abhaya means fearlessness. So ahimsa, non-violence. Samata, equilibrium. Tushti, satisfaction. Tapaha, penance. Danam, charity. Yashaha, fame. Ayashaha, infamy. All these qualities are created by Krishna alone. There are some good qualities, there are some bad qualities also here, right? So the good quality, the bad qualities here are Ayashaha, that is infamy. And there is another quality here called as Bhayam, called fear. Being fearful is a bad quality, right? And Ayashaha, this infamy, right? Bhayam means fear. Dukkham, distress. Abhavam means death. There's some good qualities and bad qualities. All these qualities of living entities are all created by Krishna alone. Okay. So we'll try to understand each of these qualities very quickly. So first of all, let's try to understand what is buddhi. Buddhi means intelligence. So what is intelligence? Intelligence is not IQ. It's not about memorizing something. How intelligent you are does not mean how much memory you have. In real intelligence is to analyze things in proper perspective. And the perfect knowledge is the Vedic knowledge. Perfect knowledge is the knowledge of Bhagavad-gītā. To understand what is spirit, what is matter. To try to understand where is life coming from. Is life coming from matter or matter is coming from life? So life is the spirit, right? So the scientists, they are researching about matter, but they have no clue about the spirit within, the life symptoms. You see, there is artificial intelligence, but there is no artificial consciousness. Consciousness cannot be created. Consciousness is the symptom of the soul. We are that consciousness. We are soul, right? That is, our existence is based on that consciousness. Consciousness is a symptom of soul. So knowledge means to understand the distinction between spirit and matter. That is called real knowledge. That is the correct vidya. But in the modern education, there is no knowledge about the spirit. That means we are only studying about the dead matter. The real living force within that dead matter, we are discarding that, which is the essence of the living. Of course, both are required. Spirit and matter are both required. That is Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Everything is a combination of Kshetra and Kshetrajna, matter and spirit. However, Kshetrajna is very important because it is the living force, right? Similarly, let us go to the next one. Asammoha means not having moha. So that is, moha means to be in delusion. Okay. So nothing should be accepted blindly. Everything should be accepted with care and caution. We have to understand it with the help of philosophy. If we read this Krishna consciousness philosophy, if we read Prabhupada books, Bhagavad-gītā, Bhagavatam repeatedly, then we will understand. All our delusion will be gone. And Kshama means tolerance and forgiveness. That is, we should be tolerant and excuse minor offenses of others. We should not simply exaggerate the minor offenses. Satyam means truthfulness, means presenting the truth as it is without misrepresentation. You see, our society, you see, the marketing, we see the advertisements department, they're expert in asatyam. They're expert in presenting carbohydrates as proteins and proteins as carbohydrates. They can present anything as anything. That is their specialty. But that is not satyam. Facts should never be misrepresented. Actually, according to the social convention, it is said satyam vada priyam vada. That means always speak palatable truth. So that means something, if it is not palatable, don't speak about it. But that is not truthfulness. That is just a social convention. We should be bold enough to speak the truth in a straightforward way so that others will understand actually what the facts are. Because in the long run, that absolute truth, that purity of truth is very important. For example, if there is a thief, out of social convention, you may feel, why should I simply call him a thief? Right? And let us say you don't call him out that this person is a thief. But then what will happen later is, this thief will be doing the theft and everybody will get affected. So even though you were telling palatable truth, you didn't want to simply criticize somebody. That is why you didn't say that this person is a thief. But because of not being very straightforward, there has been a problem for everybody. So similarly, if there is a truth, we must speak it as it is. We should not refrain from speaking it. We should present the facts as it is. That is the definition of truth. So Parama Satyam is Krishna. The supreme absolute truth is Krishna. The truth that everybody is searching for is Krishna. And Bhagavad-gītā speaks the truth as it is, whether it is palatable or not palatable. Not everybody likes to hear about some topics like death because it gives a morbid feeling for them. Not everybody wants to think about death, but Krishna very openly speaks about it. Right? And Krishna openly says, this is Dukkhalaya Ashashvatam. That is called truth. That whether you like it, you don't like it. Here is the truth. This world is full of misery. The benefit of having such a truth is that it will save us a lot of problems. So the moment we realize that, oh, this world is temporary, oh, this world is full of miseries, then we don't get attached to this. So we don't have to go through all of that trauma that others are going through just by hearing the truth. So that is why truth is very important. And then Shama means control of the senses. The senses should be controlled and they should not be used for unnecessary personal enjoyment. See, properly meeting the needs of the senses is not prohibited. See, for example, at the tongue, it wants good food, right? And the skin, it wants some proper basic comfort. Yes, that is very much fine, giving the basic comforts, but unnecessary sense enjoyment is detrimental for spiritual advancement. That we should remember. We should not give unwanted sense enjoyment. Similarly, mind also, we have to control. Shama and Dama. Sense control, mind control. Mind control is Shama. And sense control is Dama. So mind control, we should restrain the mind from unnecessary thoughts. We should not spend too much thinking about how to earn a lot of money, how to become very powerful, how to become very great, right? So we should not unnecessarily think a lot about that. So the power of thought should be used, or it should be developed in the association of the saintly people and Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, that is with the spiritual master, being in the association with the scriptures, being in the association with the Sadhu or the authorities. Then we have to develop a higher thinking, which is favorable for Krishna consciousness. And whatever is unfavorable for Krishna consciousness, we should reject. That is called as proper thinking, proper use of mind. Sukham means the pleasure should always be which is favorable for the cultivation of spiritual knowledge of Krishna consciousness. And Dukkham is that which is unfavorable for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness. So Sukham and Dukkham definition is anything favorable for Krishna consciousness is Sukham, anything unfavorable for Krishna consciousness is Dukkham. Bhava and Abhavam. Bhava means birth, means reference to the body. The body is taking the birth, but the soul is not having birth nor death. Najayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavitavya na bhuyaha ajonitya shashvatoyam purano nahanyate hanyamane sarire. That means the soul does not have the birth. Soul does not have the death. It is the birth of the body. When we say birth and death, it is applicable only for the body, and that too within this material world. That is birth and death. Bhayam means worrying about the future. But a person who is in Krishna consciousness, he is fearless. Because by his activities, he is sure to go back to the spiritual sky, back to Godhead. Therefore, he thinks that his future is very bright. So, for example, there was a very great Alvar, Ananta Alvar. He was a great devotee. He was bitten by a snake. So he said, you see, if I am going to die, I'll go back to Godhead and I will serve the Supreme Lord there. I'm going to be alive somehow by chance, then I shall serve the Supreme Lord here. So therefore, I am fearless. So this is called fearlessness, because the devotee knows that his future is very bright. Actually, we feel fearful because of thinking about the future. So what is going to happen? Right? So people are in constant anxiety because of not knowing about this Krishna consciousness. If we want to become free from this anxiety, the best is to understand Krishna and be conscious. That is abhayam. Ahimsa means non-violence. Means one should not do anything that will put others in misery. You see, the politicians, they do a lot of promises that your future is going to be very bright, etc., etc. But actually, these politicians, they do not have the transcendental vision. They don't know what is actually beneficial for the human society. So we should understand what is the actual benefit. Ahimsa means giving Krishna consciousness. Himsa means not giving Krishna consciousness. That means if you're not teaching Krishna consciousness to somebody, you're actually being violent. Why? Because by not teaching Krishna consciousness, you're allowing that person to repeatedly take birth and death, which in itself is a lot of suffering. So that means knowingly you're allowing a person to suffer. That is himsa. That is the proper definition of himsa. So ahimsa means to preach Krishna consciousness, to teach spiritual realization, so that we don't have to take birth again. Samatha means equanimity. Samatha means freedom from attachment and aversion. Not to be attached too much, or not to be hating something, not to be very much detached, right, is not the good thing to do. Okay, we should be balanced. Whatever is favorable for Krishna, we should accept. Whatever is not favorable for Krishna consciousness, we should reject. This is called as equanimity. So, because a person who is in Krishna consciousness has got nothing to reject and nothing to save, because only his thought process is whether this is useful in Krishna consciousness or not. So, for example, Srila Prabhupada used to use a dictaphone. Dictaphone is a technology, right? He used a dictaphone. He used to travel by aeroplane. But then he used the dictaphone for writing these books. Transcendental literature, Bhagavad-gītā, we are reading every single day. And he used to go by the plane flight to all over the world to travel to preach Krishna consciousness. That means there is nothing to be rejected here. Whatever is spoiling our Krishna consciousness, we must reject. If you can use anything in Krishna consciousness, you must use it. That's it. Tushti. Tushti means satisfaction. We must be satisfied with whatever we have. Whatever by the grace of Supreme Lord we get, if we are satisfied, that is called as tushti. Tapas. Tapas means austerity or tapasya. Like rising early in the morning, taking a bath, it's called as tapasya. It's a voluntary suffering. Tapasya means voluntary trouble, taking up some trouble voluntarily. Similarly, fasting on certain days, Ekadashi, is called tapasya. So for the sake of Krishna consciousness, we take some bodily troubles. We should take that. However, we should not unnecessarily fast, which is not against the Vedic, which is against the Vedic injunctions. So for example, there are some people who fast on Thursdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, or some other kinds of vows that they take for the sake of fasting. That should be avoided. That is called unnecessarily torturing the body. That is called tapasya in the mode of ignorance. Tapasya should be in the mode of goodness. It should be only for the sake of the satisfaction of the Supreme. We should fast not for any political purpose or any material purpose. We should fast only for the sake of Krishna consciousness. That is on Ekadashi. Or we fast on the festival days. That is on the appearance day of Lord Krishna. Or on the appearance day of Balarama, appearance day of Lord Ramachandra, appearance day of Narsimha. Like that we fast. Or on the appearance and disappearance day of the spiritual master, we fast. Not simply. And dana means one must actually give charity for a good cause. And the recommended amount is like 50% of his earnings should be given for the good cause. And the best cause is Krishna consciousness. Because good cause means what? Krishna is all good, supremely good. Therefore, serving him is a good cause, is the best cause. Charity should be therefore given to those people who are engaged in Krishna consciousness. Actually, according to the Vedas, we are not even supposed to give to the people who are not in Sattva-guna. Charity. We are only supposed to give charity to the Brahmanas because they are in the mode of goodness, because they are reading the Vedas, they are following the Vedic injunctions. And why to a Brahmana? Because they are in a higher cultivation of spiritual knowledge, because they are situated in Brahman. Brahma janati iti Brahmana, not simply caste Brahmin. I'm talking about a Brahma janati iti Brahmana. That means a Brahmana, a real Brahmana is one who understands Brahman, who understands Brahman. So therefore, such a kind of charity is called higher spiritual service. Because these Brahmanas, or who are dedicated to spiritual life, they do not have any time for earning their livelihood. Therefore, the others should be supporting with the help of dana. This is the Vedic recommendation. Similarly, sannyasis also, they're begging from door to door for missionary purpose, for preaching purpose, to teach the householders, to wake them up from ignorance. Because everybody has forgotten Krishna consciousness. So a sannyasi goes house to house, door to door, and awakens them from material life to spiritual life. So therefore, charity must be given to these people, sannyasi and brahmana. And similar good causes, that is Krishna conscious, not to any whimsical causes. That is dana. That is called real dana. Yashas or fame should be according to Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya said that fame means a man is famous when he is known as a great devotee. So what are you known as? So we should just see at the end of my life, when I'm about to leave my body, what do people say? Okay, he was a very good person. He was a good doctor. He was a good engineer. Or he was a good father. Or she was a good mother. Or she was a very good devotee. What is everybody going to speak about us? Actually, real fame is when everybody says that, okay, he's a great devotee. That is called real fame. A great man in Krishna consciousness, if somebody becomes, that is called real fame. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. Other fame is not fame. That is just simply Maya. So these are all the qualities that are manifest in the universe, in the human society, and in the society of the demigods as well. Right? So anybody who wants to advance in Krishna consciousness, Krishna gives all these qualities automatically. And they develop these qualities within. So if we simply engage in the devotional service of Krishna, these qualities will automatically come. Right? So whatever you find good or bad, the origin is Krishna. See, nothing can manifest itself in this material world which is not in Krishna. So sometimes we think God is good, God is bad. God is good. God is supreme good. But the bad and good both have come from God. That we have to realize. Everything comes from God. If bad has not come from God, that means that bad is something out of God, and it is possible that maybe bad is greater than God also. So the correct philosophy to understand is good or bad, everything comes from the Supreme Lord. This is called real knowledge. So the only thing, the ultimate conclusion is everything flows from Krishna. Everything flows from Krishna. So this 10th chapter is a very wonderful chapter. We're going to soon discuss about the Chatushloki Bhagavad-gītā, 10.8, 9, 10 and 11, 4 shlokas, in which Lord Krishna will summarize the entire Bhagavad-gītā, the importance of devotional service, and how he takes care of the devotees, everything in 4 verses. And we have subsequent reaction of Arjuna after hearing these verses. And Arjuna asking him to explain more about the opulence of Krishna. And Krishna explains about his opulences. So it's a very wonderful chapter. So please keep coming to the classes every single day. Thank you very much, dear devotees. If you have any questions, we can take up. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanavad Pranam. Dhanavad
Yes,
Pranam to everybody. Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
I'll take leave, Prabhuji. Like, Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
sure. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, devotees.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna to all devotees.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.